Good morning, students. So we are starting our day Wednesday with math as usual. And yesterday we finished practicing how to reduce fractions. Now, if you had any trouble with that, I know that our video was uploaded a little bit late yesterday. So if you need any help with page 23, which is all about reducing fractions, then don't hesitate to ask during our Zoom meeting. But today what we're learning is how to change improper fractions to mixed numbers. Now I know that may sound confusing at first, but I'm going to explain it all. So after you do your review exercises and speed drills, and up here you'll notice that you have a little fraction figure and one reduction here. So we're just going to reduce one. And again, if you need help, let me know. But I explained it all in yesterday's video. So for today, what we're going to learn first is what an improper fraction is. So first I'm going to read the directions and then I'm going to explain it a little bit better. So it says here that an improper fraction has a numerator that is equal to or greater than its denominator. Improper fractions can be written either as whole numbers or as mixed numerals, which are a whole number and a fraction. To change, divide the numerator by the denominator. And here we have an example, but I'm going to give you a more clear example. So what we're doing is every time that we have a fraction where the number on the top, the numerator, is larger than the denominator, that's called improper. And usually we need to change it to a proper fraction. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So first thing to know, when you have a number on top, the numerator, which is larger than the number on the bottom, the denominator, we call that an improper fraction. So what we're going to do after our first two samples are 1 through 10, changing all of these into what we call mixed numbers, which are the opposite of improper fractions. And it's actually very easy to do. So at the very end here it says divide the numerator by the denominator. So it's important to just remember the top number's numerator. I'm going to just put a little note here. Bottom number, denominator. So we are dividing the numerator by the denominator. And it's as simple as doing this. Bottom number, top number. Divide. So you are going to end up with very simple division problems for all of these. Before we complete this one, let's do this one in a division form. So we're going to put 6 into 9. Simple. So I'm going to use an extra piece of paper to show you how to make this answer into a mixed number. And I promise it's very easy. And the more you do, the easier it gets. So for sample 1 here, we have 3 over 2, which we already know is improper. So we're going to divide the denominator into the numerator. And by now we all know how to do 2 into 3. So 2 fits into 3 one time. 2 times 1 is 2. So we subtract and we end up with this. And normally we would put this as a remainder. But instead we're going to change it into a mixed number. And all we do is take the top number, put it large as the whole number, and then take these two and make it a fraction, 1 over 2. And that's it. You have your mixed number. So just remember, after you divide, you put this number first. So I'm going to put a number 1 here. Then this number goes second, and this number goes third. Let's do the second sample together. So we have 9 over 6, an improper fraction. So we're just going to divide the bottom number into the top number. How many times does 6 fit into 9? 6 fits into 9 only once. 6 times 1 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. And 1, 2, 3. 1 is large, then 3 over 6. And later on, you will be reducing some of the fractions because 3 over 6 can actually be reduced. However, on this page, you do not have to reduce your answers yet. Your focus is to just change the improper fractions into mixed numerals. Let's do one more just to be sure. And of course, I am always here to help. So for number 1, we have 7 over 4. 7 over 4, an improper fraction. So we're going to divide 4 into 7. 4 fits into 7 only one time. 4 times 1 is 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. And our same process. 1, 3, 4. Mixed number. So practice these from numbers 2 through 10. You can even send it to me for clarification before Friday or before the weekend if you're having trouble. And definitely join me on Zoom before a read along, and I will be more than happy to go over it as our fraction assignments get increasingly more challenging. Here we have our language arts assignment for Wednesday, and we are just continuing our work with plurals. So there's nothing new today. We are just moving on to Think D. So you're going to read the following sentences looking for singular words which should be plural. Rewrite the sentences correctly on notebook paper. So as you know, I usually don't have you write your sentences separately on notebook paper. So if you're listening closely to this video, then you'll be happy to know that you just have to adjust the word. You do not have to rewrite the whole sentence. So what you're doing is reading the sentence. I encourage you to read the sentence out loud so that you can better identify the word that needs to be plural. So that means that there's a word in every sentence that should be more than one. So let's do number 1 as an example. Number 1 says, these raspberry bush have many berry. That doesn't sound like it makes sense. It sounds like there should be plurals because we definitely wouldn't have the word many in front of a singular noun. So let's try which words need to be plural. These raspberry bush have many berries? Yes, but we're still missing one. These raspberry bushes have many berries. That sounds like it makes much better sense. So instead of rewriting your sentence, this is what you're going to do. Very similar to what we do in our spelling book when we have to edit paragraphs. You will just cross out the word that is singular and write the plural word on top. So in this case, bushes, berries. Of course, if you want to write out the sentences as practice, then I don't mind. You can send a separate piece of paper. But all you need to do is cross it out and write the correct word small on top. Down for Remember E, remember that we are going back to something that we've already learned in the past. And in this case, we're going back to present, present participles, past, and past participles. So it says, use the pattern to find the principal parts of these regular and irregular verbs. And of course, you can go back to the section where we learned all of these principal parts. However, I think that once you read the word, you will remember and become very familiar quickly. So let's do an example. So here, remember that present as an example would be today I, as in today I teach. present participle, I am blank. Yesterday I blanked. I have blanked. And we're using these words here on the left. So let's do the first one together. So if the present is today I teach, then the present participle should be today I am teaching. So you would write teaching here. And remember that usually the present participle ends in ing. So I'll put that little clue up here. Past. Yesterday I taught. That's why it's important to read them out loud. I have taught. Sometimes, not all the time, the past and the past participle are the same. So you're going to do the same with these 4 words. I'll give you one little hint. Today I weep. I am weeping. Yesterday you fill in the blank. The same pattern with all of these words. And here we have our spelling assignment for Wednesday, and we are using our list words. That means all of the words in our list, not just pattern words. So make sure that you're paying attention to all of the words to the right. So what you're doing here at first is you're writing a list word that belongs in each category. Now what that means is you're going to read the words and decide which of these words would make the most sense, which of these belong with this kind of category. So as you read them, you'll identify which words either mean sort of the same or belong the same in real life. If you have trouble with 1 or 2, skip it, and then you'll be left with some words that you can later sort. So let's do an example. The first one says, recover and reuse. Which word in our list most means to recover and reuse? It may not be the exact meaning, but it can be close enough that it should belong in the same category. So if we were to go through all of our words, we would notice the word recycle. And although recycle doesn't mean exactly the same, it belongs in the category of recover and reuse, because when we recycle, we're essentially reusing things or recovering something old. So you would write recycle and then mark it off so that you know you've already used it. One more, so here we have valley, gorge. If we are paying attention to our previous assignments, we would read our list words and then find the word that most goes with those. So if we go all the way down, we would find the word canyon. So we know that canyons are on the sides of valleys and gorges, as we learned in our previous pages. So we would write canyon here. And I did these 2 because these first 2 seem to be a little bit more challenging than the rest of them. So if you got these 2, the others should be pretty easy. Just read them out loud and determine which word kind of either means the same or is in the same category. So down here you're numbering words and you're putting them in ABC order, which should be something that you've learned a couple of years ago in elementary school. So what you're doing is putting all of these words in ABC order, but take a look that here it says number 10 and here it's number 11. So you're not doing all of these words. First you're putting these in alphabetical order, then you're doing these in alphabetical order separately. So don't do them all together. Once you are done putting all of these in alphabetical order, like writing A, B, C, D according to the alphabet, then you will rewrite them in order here neatly. So do them individually. Then here on the bottom, we have a new exercise that we haven't really done yet, but is actually quite easy. It says to write the list words that would be printed on the same dictionary page as the bold guide words. Write the words in alphabetical order. So, what you're doing is you are going to write down any of the words in our list that you would find on the same page in the dictionary. So, if you have the word edify and gymnast, then you have to determine which E words, F words, G words belong in this list. But pay attention to the second letters and the third letters, because an EB word or an EC word would not go there because it is before. And for number 13, we have swim and unify. So any S words, T words, and U words would belong here, but not words that are before SW. So if you have an SE, SR, ST word, it wouldn't belong because we're doing the words that go in between these. So pretend these are on your dictionary page. Which words would belong in each list?